G'day guys, how you doing? We've got a beautiful clear night, so I think it's time I set up and get ready to start imaging. So we're partly set up, just a few things left to do, basically just connecting up cables and stuff and getting the batteries out, and that's it. And we'll be good to go as soon as it gets darker. Now, I won't start imaging till probably about almost 10 p.m. Because of daylight savings and stuff like that. So it's currently just gone 8 p.m. So probably another couple more hours I'll start to image. Tonight's plan is very different. What I would normally achieve in one night with the triplets all set up, being able to, with a mono camera and changing all the filters, coming out with a color image at the end, I won't be able to do in just one night with this just with the one RASA. So tonight's plan is going to be something similar to how I operate with the triplets. Well, pretty much the same. The first 2 hours of the imaging session will be in a color filter, and then I'll switch over to a luminance filter or a narrowband filter. Tonight, I think I might start off with a blue filter and then switch to I might start off with green and then switch to luminous, because that's usually the RASA one. At the moment I'm using RASA number 3. This is the RASA 3, and the reason for that is because like some of you may already know, I am getting closer to the house being finished, and it just makes things a bit easier if I start to pack things up and get stuff out of storage as well, getting ready to move. But on that, I still don't know if the house will be ready, because I'm meant to have an inspection on the 13th of Feb, and when I went up there the other day to have a bit of a look at it, all the stuff that I've put down to be fixed, and they said that the painters are going to be fixing it, have not been fixed. And to give you one example, the cornice work on the inside of the house, there's a part around the kitchen area that has not been completed yet, and they've painted. It gets me sometimes why people can't finish a job right in the first place before moving on to another part of the house, or why site supervisors can't even work out or see that yes, there are some things that need to be fixed, so before we move on to the next stage, let's get this stuff fixed, then we can move on to the next stage. Instead, it's like you've only got 2 days to do this. Do as much as you can, and then at the end we'll go back and fix everything we've missed. I don't know, it's been very stressful building this house. I'm excited, it is looking good, and I'm excited about being under darker skies to do some astrophotography in the backyard. But there's also a little thing about that too, where everything that I've saved for, is like my solar, which is quite expensive, a little bit of furniture and all that. I've got nothing left, and I've got a lot of retaining wall and fencing to build. So at this stage, until my fences are built, I don't really want to be setting up the triple RASAs out the back, where everyone can see what I've got and what's going on. So yeah, as soon as I move into the house, it's going to be great, but I don't know when I'll be maybe imaging. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk a little bit more about tonight's imaging session. I'm contemplating on the Red Horsehead Nebula, because it's been a long time since I've imaged the Red Horsehead, but I've also haven't captured a lot of data on the Red Horse Head too. I don't really want to shoot Orion again, so it's either that or something a little bit different, something I haven't really imaged before. And I would like to shoot the Rosette and the Seven Sisters, but the problem here is that all those trees in the background tend to cover up the Seven Sisters and a fair bit of the Rosette, so you don't get a lot of imaging time on that. That's a bit challenging, but yeah, I do have a thing for the Red Horse Head. Maybe we might go for that. I guess I'll leave that as a bit of a surprise. Well, I'm just going to connect up the rest of the cables before the mosquitoes come out and I get beaten. But yeah, let's wait for it to get darker and get imaging. Day number 2 of my Astro image. So last night was a good imaging session. I didn't get a lot of data compared to what I normally get. Plus, imaging with Von Rasser in mono, being able to capture all the channels that I want in one night with the triplets, I noticed a difference there. So this project is 3 nights. Last night was green and HA. Tonight will be probably maybe blue and O3. You may have also noticed in the time lapse that there's a pretty bright moon around as well. So I'm trying to shoot narrowband more towards when the moon is at its highest. And then I will hopefully shoot some luminance when there's less of a moon throughout the night. So that's the plan there. Now, I only captured about 12 images to stack for HA. And the reason for that is that I'm changing the way I capture my images in terms of exposure length. So I'm just experimenting a little bit there. They were 240-second single sub exposures, and I've stacked it up and had a bit of a look, and I'm actually quite surprised at the amount of HA I've actually captured in this region. So yeah, I think it could be a pretty cool looking image once it's done. I've never photographed this target before, and you may be wondering what target it is. Well, it is the Cosmic Bat Nebula, also known as the Foxhead Nebula, or I think it's NGC 1788. So it's in the constellation, or in the Orion region area. But yeah, so it's a different target, pretty interesting looking target, and yeah, pretty excited. Well, I've just got to wait for it to. Oh, the other thing too is that tonight I'll have to reshoot my HA flats, because the flats at the end of the session the sequence didn't kick in, and the reason for that is I didn't reconnect the flats device, and adding that into the sequence. So connecting the equipment and then the flats. So that was my fault. So I'll have to reshoot the flats on the HA when it's dark enough and ready to go, and then I'll begin the rest of the sequence. One last thing too, the dew shield as well, being printed on ASA, has so far made a big difference in terms of no warping, because I deliberately let that system out in the warmth over the past couple of days. And yeah, so we've had some warm temperatures, and I've had no covers on the telescopes. And yeah, there's been no warping whatsoever, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Costs a little bit more to print, but I think it's worth it in the end. Also, the windows, sliding the windows up and down to access the filters. Oh my god, what a difference that makes. It's so easy. Anyway, just gonna wait for it to get a bit darker, reshoot my flats, begin with the blue filter, and end with the Oxygen 3. Well, here we are, night number 4. That's right, you heard me, night number 4. You may be wondering what happened to night number 3. Well, I actually fell asleep. So, yeah, I wasn't able to complete the full imaging session. I started the session off capturing the red filter and fell asleep. So by the time it was time to change this to the L filter, luminance filter, yeah, I was out in my own distant galaxy. So that brings us to night number 4, where tonight all we're going to do is just capture luminance. So it's probably a good thing, because I'm going to get a lot more luminance than what I have been getting in the second part of the sessions, purely because of daylight savings, and then not being able to really start imaging till about 10 p.m. and then, you know, the sun rising a bit earlier as well. So yeah, it's probably a good thing. I'm going to get a lot more luminance, because the HA and the O3, I've only been capturing a total of about 48 minutes, between 45, 48 minutes of data to stack. So that's not really as much as I'd like to stack. And then for the RGB, we're averaging around about an hour and 40 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes of exposure times over a 2-hour period. So I'm losing about 15 minutes in dithering, and yeah. But yeah, the filter changes sort of happen around just after midnight, and then it begins the second session. And the second session, yeah, we're not getting heaps of data, but we're getting enough. And I've had a peek at some of this data that I've been capturing, and it looks pretty cool. I'm yeah, pretty happy with how it's turning out with the minimum amount of data that I've usually like to capture. So anyway, we're just going to wait for it to get dark and finish the final capture of the luminance. Well everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you have. Leave a comment if you got any questions. And if this is the first video you've seen, please check out some of my others. And if you enjoy, hit that subscribe. Alright, so that's it for me. So until next time guys, take it easy. See ya.